Hi and welcome. I'm about to set off on a little afternoon scenic flight here on a windy day in Switzerland to test this tiny little device here, which is called the Sentry Plus. So follow me on this flight to find out what this is, what it does, and why it's very interesting not only for pilots flying in the United States, but also for European pilots. Let's get into it. Before we're getting started, a big thank you to Skyfox, who are sponsoring this video. Skyfox is the perfect choice for all pilot supplies you can think of. They ship to almost every country here in Europe and are the official distributor for the entire Sentry lineup. Find out more on skyfox.com or use the link down in the video description. Now, first, an important information regarding this device here. This only works together with ForeFlight, which is, I think, becoming more and more popular amongst pilots in Europe, and which is, in my personal opinion, kind of the best navigation application for private VFR and IFR flying. In case you are using SkyDemon, you can skip to the end of this video and learn about an alternative that might be interesting for you. Now, what is this? Sentry Plus is a portable ADS-B and FLARM receiver, so you can display different traffic targets in your ForeFlight application to improve your situational awareness in flight. Additionally, you get a number of useful features that can enhance your user experience when or while using ForeFlight. The Sentry Plus will arrive in a nice little box with a carrying case, which contains the device itself, a USB-C charging cable, a quick start manual and a RAM mount suction cup holder. What you do with this is mount it to preferably any of the side windows of your aircraft and then turn on the device with a big power button. On the device itself you'll find 3 LED lights that show whether GPS is working. The one in the middle belongs to the CO detector, more on that later. The third one shows whether you're connected to ADS-B towers or not. You also have a little screen where you will get the information regarding battery charge and where you can toggle through a number of info screens. Now, when you are using this Sentry Plus for the first time, you have to first connect your iPad or iPhone to the Wi-Fi network that Sentry Plus will actually give you there. Normally it has no password. You can set a password there if you wanted to. And afterwards you just open ForeFlight and you can check on the Devices tab to make sure Sentry Plus is connected. Now it tells me, as I'm using it actually for the first time here on my iPad mini, says congratulations on your new Sentry Plus and so on. So you can start the setup there. What Sentry Plus needs to know is whether you are mounting it to the left or right side window. This is because of the AHRS module that we'll talk about in a minute. You can set it up as you wish here and go to calibrate AHRS. Now, as you can see, you have to tell the thing for the first time that it's make sure that its wings level. I'm a bit banged up, I think, because the tarmac is not level here, and like this you're basically done with the setup. You can also check that it's connected here down there in the right bottom corner, where it shows you that the accuracy is actually fine, and you can toggle here through the different screens where it will also tell you how accurate your GPS is. Now, what you can see here is actually the position, the AHRS module that provides you with your kind of artificial horizon here in the iPad. It is kind of a bit of a gadget. I think when you're flying with a standard, let's say a standard 6 gauge round dial setup, and you were to lose your vacuum pump, it might actually be a good backup there for, let's say, IFR night operations. I think it's a nice backup to have. It's not something that I would rely on too much, but it's for sure a great thing to have. What I really appreciate is that with the built-in GPS, you actually don't need to buy a Wi-Fi and cellular version of your iPad. You can go with the Wi-Fi version only. Even though this has no built-in GPS receiver, then the Sentry will provide you with a very good and accurate GPS position, so you can save money there on your iPad actually. While we're taking off from my home grass strip here in the northern bit of Switzerland, some more information on the Sentry Plus. The main reason I bought this is its capability to help you spot traffic en route. Here in Europe we cannot receive weather information through ADS-B as there are only a few test stations across Europe for that for now. By the way, I know many pilots watching at this moment are from the United States, so if you're interested in the range of functions you will see in the States, you can skip to the next chapter using the timeline below. But for traffic avoidance, Sentry Plus is of great help over here as well. See and Avoid has a number of limitations, which is why we still see about 40 mid-air collisions each year. Most of them occur in general aviation. I did a two-part video series on the subject. You find the link to the first video in the top right corner here. Sentry Plus will detect both ADS-B out transponders as well as FLARM targets at the same time, which makes it very interesting for pilots in Europe. FLARM has kind of become the standard in traffic avoidance, and you see more and more ADS-B out transponders as well.
Da unten kommt uns jetzt dann irgendwann noch ein Rettungshubschrauber entgegen, je nachdem. Da ist jetzt rechts von dir ein bisschen tiefer der Rettungsheli. Irgendwo rechts unten sollte also am Flügel vorbei sein gerade.
Ja, ich sehe ihn.
Siehst du ihn?
Ja, direkt jetzt, gleich direkt
Ja,
im
sehe
Flügel.
ich auch jetzt, ja.
Das ist echt geil mit dem Flam.
He's gonna be landing down there, the helicopter. It's actually useful, especially when the visibility is not excellent, to have the possibility to spot traffic earlier. Then you could see it just by eye.
To actually receive FLARM signals, you need to add the FLARM decoding license to your ForeFlight subscription. This will cost you 28 euros per year. It's important to mention this thing does not send your position to other airspace users in any way. So if everybody only uses this, nobody will receive any traffic information. So this can only be the addition to an ADS-B out transponder, for example, or if you wanted to have a better traffic display than you'll get with most panel-mounted FLARM displays. Before we start the approach into one of Switzerland's most beautiful runways just along the lakeside of Lake Zurich, I quickly skip over to the United States to show the additional functionality you'll see over there.
So now, as promised, I skip forward a couple of days. We're now inside a 172, just on the way from Los Angeles, Long Beach, basically to San Diego. And of course, as many of you watching are in the United States, you'll be wondering how the Sentry Plus is working.
Grumman 10 Mike, approach 134.35, good day.
Sorry for that. It's working here in the United States now. Unlike in Europe, you guys are lucky and get some ADS-B ground stations here in the United States, which transmit not only the complete traffic image, as you can see here on my iPad, but also some weather uplink. We don't have that feature in Europe, so the weather is fairly nice today here, so you don't really get to see any precipitation now on this image, but once we zoom out here in the northeast, you can see there are some precipitation, some rain as well. You get all the meters and tufts, of course. You can go on the layer selector and then go for the cloud tops. You find information about icing, about turbulence. That's all transmitted via the ADS-B ground stations here and received by the Sentry, so you can display the weather you're on your iPad. That's a really useful feature, especially if you're flying in low or the worse weather than today, and if you're flying IFR. That's something we don't have in Europe, and so with a full functionality, the ADS-B receiver does a great job here in the United States as well. Now follow me onto the beautiful scenic approach into the small little airport at the Lake of Zurich.
On the Mike Foxtrot, ahead 2,600 feet, proceeding via right circuit, runway 26.
So while we're enjoying a little break here at the airport restaurant, it's time to reveal some of the additional features that the Sentry Plus offers. One that I really like is that this has a built-in CO monitor, which will alert you as soon as the CO concentration in the cabin becomes excessive. So you can confidently use your cabin heating and know that kind of a crack or something in the heating duct is much less likely to become a life-threatening scenario there. You also get a G meter. I think this is a bit of a gadget. More useful is the powerful on-device track logging function. So if you ever forget to manually hit the record button in ForeFlight, this device will nevertheless record your flights for you, so you can import your flights into ForeFlight afterwards. And the battery life is with up to 18 hours is enough to record multiple flights, and it's better than other mobile ADS-B receivers. There's only one thing I don't like at all about the Sentry Plus, which is its price. This thing costs 875 euros or 850 Swiss francs here in Switzerland, which is a lot, because again, the concept with these ADS-B receivers only works if you have some equipment that will also send your position out to others, which, well, these things just don't. In the US, of course, ADS-B out transponders are mandatory, which they are not over here in Europe. That's why I'm mentioning this issue. Now, what about those who are not using ForeFlight or might use ForeFlight but look for, let's say, something less expensive? In this case, I have good news, because there is an alternative for European pilots. It's called the Sky Echo 2. I don't own this myself. This is, will also receive FLARM and ADS-B signals. It works with multiple navigation apps, and it costs a bit less. However, it has no AHRS, it has no track recorder, and it has no CO detector. Overall, I want to point out that it is really a great benefit to see traffic electronically before it can be seen with the clear eyes, and before it becomes a threat. I can again refer to my two-part video series about traffic avoidance in GA. There are studies that show that a see and avoid alone is prone to errors and will never work 100% as much as I wish it would. So electronic conspicuity is a great thing to have, which is why I invested in this little thing here. Now is the time where I'm curious to get your feedback on this video and your opinion on this device, of course. Please let me know if you would consider buying one of these for yourself. In case you do, you'll find a link to the Skyfox website where I bought the thing myself in the video description. I got a bit of a discount by these guys for myself, so I could make this video. So thanks again to Skyfox. We'll be heading back now. Thank you all for watching all the way to the end. Subscribe to this channel for more videos like these. Enjoy the rest of the flying season, and as always, many happy landings out there.